darling, ever wonder what it takes for a hero to earn a standing ovation from villains? Prepare to have your wicked heart stirred as we explore the rebels, gladiators, and unlikely saviors who've managed to captivate even the darkest souls. What makes these heroes so irresistible? You know, this channel is all about the bad guys, right? We've swooned over villain quotes, dissected Sith teachings, and unraveled the delicious minds of DreamWorks baddies. But today, we're making an exception. After all,
if one is to understand the great mystery, one must study all its aspects.
Most heroes are dull as dishwater, but these, they're different. They've got fire, darling. They've walked through hell and come out forged in flames. These aren't your cookie-cutter good guys. They're complex, they're scarred, and they're oh so captivating. Even a bad girl like me can't help but admire their honor. So, what is it about these particular heroes that makes them so utterly irresistible? Let's find out, shall we? Honey, let's start our journey into heroic territory with a man who makes even villains weak at the knees. Maximus Decimus Meridius.
My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius.
Just saying his name sends shivers down my spine. Picture this. A Roman general, betrayed and enslaved, rising from the ashes to become the champion of the people. Maximus wasn't born to be a hero, my sweet. He was thrust into the role, kicking and screaming by fate's cruel hand. And that, my dear, is what makes him so deliciously compelling. You see, Maximus had it all: power, respect, the love of his emperor. But in the blink of an eye, it was ripped away. Lesser men would have crumbled, but not our Maximus. No, he channeled his rage, his grief, his burning desire for vengeance into something.
Father to a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife, and I will have my vengeance.
Magnificent.
Did I leave the stove on?
But it's not just his prowess in battle that sets him apart. It's the way he inspires those around him. From fellow gladiators to the common people of Rome, Maximus ignites a spark of hope in even the most downtrodden souls.
Are you not entertained?
Now, let's shift our gaze to another reluctant hero who set my villainous heart aflutter: Katniss Everdeen. Oh, this girl on fire is something special indeed. Like Maximus, Katniss never asked to be a hero. She was just a girl trying to protect her sister, thrust into a deadly game by a cruel and oppressive system. But oh, how she rose to the challenge. What makes Katniss so captivating is her transformation. She starts as a survivor, focused only on keeping herself and her loved ones alive. But as her journey unfolds, she becomes something more: a symbol of rebellion, a beacon of hope for the oppressed. Both Maximus and Katniss share that delicious quality of being forged in the fires of adversity. They're not your typical goody two-shoes heroes, always doing the right thing with a smile. No, they're complex, flawed, and all the more captivating for it. These two prove that true heroism isn't about wanting to save the world. It's about standing up when every fiber of your being screams at you to stay down. It's about fighting not just for yourself, but for something greater. And this was just the beginning. Oh, you thrill seeker. Now we turn our attention to two more delicious morsels of heroism: Rocky Balboa and Ellen Ripley. These underdogs have a special place in my villainous heart. Why, you ask? Because they just refuse to stay down, no matter how hard life hits them. Let's start with Rocky, shall we? A small-time boxer from the rough streets of Philadelphia, he's not exactly your typical hero material. But oh, what a fighter he is. And I'm not just talking about in the ring. Life throws everything it's got at Rocky, and he takes it all on the chin, gets back up, and keeps swinging. What makes Rocky so captivating is his raw determination. He's not the smartest, he's not the most talented, but by the dark forces, he's got heart. Every time he steps into that ring, outmatched and overwhelmed, you can't help but root for him. It's that stubborn refusal to give up that makes even us villains want to stand up and cheer. Now, let's slip into the cold, unforgiving vacuum of space and talk about Ellen Ripley. Oh, this woman is something else entirely. Trapped on a ship with a perfect killing machine, Ripley doesn't just survive, she evolves. With each encounter, she becomes stronger, smarter, more determined. What's truly intoxicating about Ripley is how she faces her fears head on. She's terrified, yes, but she doesn't let that stop her. She adapts, she strategizes, she fights back. And let me tell you, darling, watching her transform from a scared warrant officer to a badass alien slayer is absolutely thrilling. Both Rocky and Ripley face battles that go far beyond the physical. Rocky's fighting against a world that's written him off, against his own self-doubt. Ripley's battling not just aliens, but a corporation that values profit over human life.
Ash and Captain Dallas are dead.
And her own trauma from past encounters. These struggles shape them, forge them into something more than they were. Rocky learns to believe in himself, to see his own worth beyond his fists. Ripley discovers a strength and resilience she never knew she had. They both emerge from their trials not just as survivors, but as true heroes. Before we delve into even more colossal turnarounds, you see, what sets these two apart, what makes them so irresistible even to villains, is their grit. It's not about winning every fight. It's about getting knocked down and getting back up, again and again. It's about facing your fears, your doubts, your demons, and saying, not today. My sweetie, let's turn our wicked gaze to a trio of rebels that make even my black heart flutter. William Wallace, Andy Dufresne, and Benjamin Martin. These aren't your run-of-the-mill do-gooders. No, there's something far more inspiring. First up, William Wallace. Just the thought of him in that kilt. But I digress. Wallace wasn't born a hero. He was a simple man, pushed too far by an unjust system. And when he finally snapped, oh, it was glorious. He didn't just fight. He ignited a revolution. What makes Wallace so deliciously compelling is his unwavering commitment to freedom. He didn't just talk about it. He lived it, breathed it, and ultimately died for it. Now, let's slip into something more confined. Andy Dufresne, the man who crawled through a river of filth and came out clean on the other side. Andy's rebellion wasn't loud or violent. It was quiet, methodical, and oh so satisfying. He faced a corrupt prison system with nothing but his wits and an unbreakable will. And darling, watching him chip away at that wall, year after year, it's enough to make a girl weak at the knees. Last, but certainly not least, Benjamin Martin. A reluctant hero, if ever there was one. But when pushed to the brink, this mild-mannered farmer transformed into a force of nature. What's truly exciting about Martin is how he balanced his thirst for vengeance with his moral compass. He didn't just fight. He inspired others to stand up against tyranny. What sets these rebels apart, you ask? It's their principles, darling. They didn't just rebel for the sake of it. They stood up for something greater than themselves. Wallace fought for Scotland's freedom. Andy for justice and hope. in a hopeless place. Martin for his family and his country's future. And oh, the sacrifices they made. Wallace gave up a chance at peace, choosing instead to rally his people. Andy sacrificed decades of his life, meticulously planning his escape and exodus. Martin risked everything, his home, his children, his very soul, in the pursuit of justice. Their methods of rebellion were as diverse as they were effective. Wallace led from the front, inspiring with his actions and words. Andy worked in the shadows, using his intellect to outwit his oppressors. Martin employed guerrilla tactics. Turning the enemy's strength against them. But it's not just about how they fought, darling. It's about the impact they had. Wallace's rebellion outlived him, inspiring generations of Scots. Andy's quest for justice exposed corruption and gave hope to the hopeless. Martin's actions helped shape a nation. Oh, darling, we've been on quite the journey, haven't we? From gladiators to rebels, we've seen heroes that make even villains take a bow.
But they'll never take our freedom!
The villains you will see in a new light, if you smash the subscribe button. But hold on to your black heart, because I've saved the best for last. Enter Oskar Schindler, the ultimate plot twist in human form. This man started as a war profiteer, a card-carrying Nazi no less. But something changed. He looked at the horror around him and thought, not on my watch. What's truly intoxicating about Schindler is his transformation. He didn't just save lives. He sacrificed everything, his fortune, his status, his safety, to do it. And darling, that complexity, that journey from darkness to light, it's absolutely irresistible